Welcome back to another live stream. Hi, how is everyone doing? We've got an interesting topic for tonight's live stream. But as usual, before we get to that, I just want to make sure that the stream is working fine. You guys can see the video feed, the audio is working, the microphone, you can hear any sound at all. If it's distorted or is there echo, any problem, let me know. Yeah, I'll have some coffee first before we dive in too far. Maybe I'm just talking to myself. Let me know if everything is okay. You can see me fine and hear me fine, all right? I'll drink some coffee. Coffee first, always. Coffee is so good. All right, we've got some update already. Thank you so much. As usual, I'll say hi to some people first. And if you are a member, I will respond to you first. Members will have the names highlighted in green with a star badge next to the name. If you're not a member, don't worry. I'll get to every single chat. Just bear with me. All right. So let's get to the chat first and say hi to some people. LSS says, hi. Hello. How are you? Nice to see you here. Okopio says, good evening, Robin. Good evening to you too. Nice to see you here. Thanks for dropping by. Jari Hikari says, audio and video okay. Thank you so much for the update. I really appreciate that. Oops, I've jumped ahead. Sorry about that. Camden says, Robin, good morning from Eastern Oregon. Hey, Camden, how are you? Nice to see you here. Andrew says, hello, Robin. Hey, Andrew, how are you? Thanks for joining the stream. Okopio says, all working well. Thank you so much for the update. Varbagamuka says, good evening, Robin. Very nice to see you again. Varbagamuka. Squadat, hey, how are you, Squadat? Always very happy to see you here. Squadat says, good morning from Orlando, Florida. Nice to see you again. Santix, hi, you are early today, Santix. How are you? I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. I wish the same to you too, Santix. Very happy to see you again. Lenny the Land says, hi, Robin. Good to join you again. Hope you are good. I'm doing well. I'm doing quite all right. Nice to see you here. Andrew says, sounding all good. Salam Sejatra. Thank you so much, Andrew. And nice to see you here again. Thanks for joining the stream. Sunny says, next week we'll be going to the YL Fair. Yes, I will be going, but I don't know which day yet. Depends on my timetable, my shoots. Definitely not on a Thursday, because I have live streams on Thursday. So I don't know. Maybe in the weekends, either Saturday or Sunday. We'll see. We'll see. Michael says, hello. What time is it? It is 3 minutes past 10 here in Malaysia. In the evening. Sunny says, what are the photo camera events coming up? As usual, Santix, I will always give an update in the beginning of my stream. So wait for that, alright? Just wait for it. David says, good afternoon from Sweden. Hey David, how are you? Nice to see you here. Spook says, hi Robin from Cebu. Stir fry midin is nice with belacan, right? We've got a viewer from Sarawak. Hello, how are you? Vato says, howdy all. Hey Vato, how are you? Nice to see you here. You just got an OM-5. Congratulations. How do you like the camera, Santix? I hope you love it. Okay, I've caught up with the chat already. And let me just give some updates on what's happening in my life before we jump into today's topic about the rumored OM-5 Mark II. As usual, every Monday I release a new video. So this week, the video was about the 10 missing lenses from Micro Four Thirds system. Whether it's from Panasonic or OM Digital Solutions, there are some gaps or some older lenses that maybe needs some updates, especially when it comes to autofocus performance or weather sealing or maybe a better coating or better build quality. So I talk about all these 10 lenses that include like high magnification budget macro lens, super telephoto lenses like 1000mm, 1200mm lens, or some bright zoom lenses with f1.8 f2 aperture. Why don't we get like maybe a 1435 f2 lens, for example. I think a lot of these lenses, we need some updates. I think it's nice if Panasonic and OM system would commit to make more lenses for Micro Four Thirds. You show their commitment to the future, to the system. That will be appreciated. So that was on Monday. It's got some really interesting comments in this session. I haven't had time to reply to the comments yet. I've been quite busy in the past few days. I've got some shoots happening, I've got some meetings, but I'll get to the comments as soon as I can. So in terms of events, there are a few things happening. The one that's happening next week, Suntix has already mentioned. It'll be the YL Camera Fair. It'll be happening from next Wednesday to Sunday, 11 to 15 of June. It will be at Putrajaya in IOI City Mall in Putrajaya, which is quite a distance away from Kuala Lumpur, maybe about 1 hour drive away from Kuala Lumpur. I don't know which day I'll be there yet, but I think most likely it'll be in the weekend, either a Saturday or a Sunday. Most likely in the afternoon to escape the heat. You know, like it's getting really hot here in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur especially. So yeah, it's a good time to hide in the shopping mall with the air conditioning and check out all the activities that's happening. I think all the big brands will be there. The Canon, Nikon, Pentax, Sony, Fuji, OM System, Sigma. Everyone will be there, right? So there will be a lot of activities, talks, maybe some workshops as well, some competitions, some shoots. So hopefully some promotions as well. I think some of the brands like Futuromics, Sony, Canon, they'll bring in their service team to do some free camera and lens cleaning, including image sensor cleaning. I think a lot of these activities may require you to pre-register early because there are limited slots, limited time available for them to clean. There's only so many cameras they can clean in a day. So you gotta take a number, gotta queue. So to make sure that you are not disappointed, you go all the way there and you can't get a slot, then maybe you should pre-register, check out the requirements from the respective brands, check out their website, see if you need to register early or not to secure your slot. So yeah, I'll be there. I don't know whether it's a Saturday or Sunday, we'll see. But I'll maybe mention next week because we're going to have this weekly live stream again next Thursday. Yeah, I'll say, hey, maybe I'll go on Saturday. So whoever wants to go, can find me on Saturday or Sunday or whatever I'm going. Then we can say hi, have some coffee or something. That'll be great. Besides this YL Camera Fair, there's another huge photography event happening at the end of the month. This is actually 1 week after the YL Camera Fair, which is the Fraser's Hill International Bird Race. Of course, as the name suggests, it will be in Fraser's Hill, which is in Pahang. And this is a yearly thing. So this is the 36th annual event, bird race. So I actually don't really know what this event is all about. I know that a lot of people are going to be there. There'll be some photography exhibitions. There'll be talks. There'll be a lot of events and activities going on, spreading awareness about birds. Not just about photography side of things, but about birds in general, right? And all the camera brands will be there. Futuromic will be there, so it means that Pentax, Nikon will be there, Sony, Canon will be there, OM System will be there. The organizer is YL Camera, which is the official distributor of OM System. So OM System being so much into wildlife and bird photography, obviously they're going to be there. So I will be going as well. So I'm tagging along YL Camera and the OM System gang in Malaysia. And honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. So what happened was, I think about a month or two ago when I borrowed the OM-3 camera. Remember, I had some content on OM-3 on my channel. I talk about the black and white photography using the OM-3 camera, used the OM-3 for some portrait shooting as well as street photography. I also borrowed the 25 f1.8 and the 100 to 400 Mark II from OM Systems. So while I was there chatting with them, I asked what's coming up. And they said there's this Fraser's Hill thing that they are going to, and I'm free to tag along if I want to. So I said, yes, I would love to, but I'm not working. Obviously, these OM System guys will be working there. There'll be customers checking out the OM System cameras and lenses. I think there's some competition going on, so they will have to be working. I am not working, so I don't know what I will be doing there. I don't think I'll be doing much bird photography, but there'll be some guys doing macro photography as well. Fraser's Hill is known for some really interesting bugs and spiders, especially trapdoor spider. So hopefully I'll get some photos of those. So I'll just go there for like 3 days, 2 nights, follow along the OM System guys and check out the event, maybe do a vlog, maybe capture some photographs. I don't know. I think it'll be quite fun. It's been a while since I went to Fraser's Hill. I think maybe like 7, 8 years ago, maybe more than 10 years ago since the last time I went there. So it's nice to revisit the place again, maybe get some shots of nice birds. And yeah, the last time I went there was to shoot some birds. So yeah, maybe we should shoot some birds again and do some macro photography. Who knows? I'll be going on the 21st to 22nd of June. I'll be going on the 20th and I'll come back on the 22nd. One more event happening. This will be in July. So this is, I don't even know there is such thing called OM System Malaysia Club. This is the first time I heard about this. So I don't even know how to enter the club. Like, is this an exclusive club or is it an open club? Anyone can join. But anyways, they posted this in a public page or a public post, meaning that anyone can join. All you have to do is just pay and register. This OM System Malaysia Club's annual photography gathering will be happening on the 25th to 27th of July. And the deadline for registration is in 2 days. I don't have the full post here. If you want the full details, you can check out Photo CLS Facebook page or OM System Malaysia's Facebook page. There's the full details of how to register, payment and everything. This will be in Pulau Tioman, which is interesting. I've never been to Pulau Tioman. I think some of the agendas for this will include snorkeling, shooting night sky, Milky Way. I don't know. I've never been to Tioman, and obviously this should be quite an interesting outing. It's not too expensive for 3 days and 2 nights trip, including accommodation, snorkeling and jeep. It's only 690 ringgit. That's like what? 150, 180 US dollars. I think it's pretty cheap. I am not going to this particular outing. I'm just putting this here in case anyone is interested. If you're interested, check out OM System Malaysia's Facebook post. The reason I'm not going is because in July, I will be going to China with mom. So I have one trip to China. I have another trip back to Kuching, Malaysia. So I have too many trips already. I need to stop spending so much money. As much as I would love to go, yeah, I can't just disappear every weekend just to have fun, right? I need to make money. I need to go out and shoot. I need to, you know, shoot for clients and yeah, and pay bills, right? So I will not be going to this particular OM System Malaysia Club's outing in Pulau Tioman, but if you want to go, please check out Photo CLS or OM System Malaysia's Facebook page, and please register as soon as possible because I think the deadline is in a few days. It is 7th of June, I think it's in 2 days. So please check it out. All right. I think that's it for the updates for this week. Nothing much is happening, I think. Next week will be a usual Monday new video. I think, yeah, pretty much that's it. For members, the members only live stream will be happening next week. I'll bring it this month earlier because I'll be disappearing to Fraser's Hill. I'll be disappearing to another weekend. I have another job. I won't be in Kuala Lumpur, and then after that I'll be flying back to Kuching. So for the subsequent few weekends, I will not be in Kuala Lumpur. So I'll be away from Kuala Lumpur for multiple weekends. That's why I need to do my members only live streams early. Usually it's on Friday, and all these Fridays I'll be traveling, right? So yeah, so that's it. That's all the announcements for this particular week. Let's get back to the chat, and then we'll start talking about tonight's interesting topic. Let's say hi to more people, but before that, let's drink some coffee. I think it's a good time to remind everyone that I have membership enabled. With just the price of a cup of coffee, you can support me. You get some really cool perks. You have early access to all my new videos. You get to see my videos 24 hours before everyone else. How cool is that? You also have members only live stream. So if you join now as a member, the members only live stream for this month is next week, next Friday. It's a private live stream where you get to interact with me a lot more. You don't have to wait for me to chat with so many people until I get to you, right? So we have more intimate conversation. Of course, if you're a member, I will reply to your comments first, whether it's in my older videos or my new videos. And if you come into chats in this live stream, I will also prioritize my responses to you first before non-members. I have taken down some older videos that were not performing well. The reason I do that is because I don't want YouTube to dilute the algorithm. I want YouTube to continue to push my new videos to a wider audience. So the videos that are not performing well, they are telling YouTube that maybe this channel is not very interesting. Maybe people are not interested in watching my videos. So that's why I took them down. These videos include tips and tricks on composition, black and white photography, how to get sharp images doing macro, a lot of POV street photography. If you want full access to these videos, you can join as a member. There are other ways to support me besides joining as a member. You can buy me a cup of coffee using this link up here. You can also contribute directly to my PayPal. You can also buy from my affiliate links from Amazon and B&H. All links in the description below on how you can do them. Any support, any contribution will go a long way. It will definitely help me to continue making more content, to share as much as I can, whether it's photography tips and tricks, or how to use OM system cameras, or micro four thirds system, or to make more reviews on camera gear in the future and share all of them here with you guys. For those of you who have supported me, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I appreciate your help. You have no idea what it means to me. It inspires me to do more and share as much as I can here with everyone. All right, let's get to the chat. All right, as usual, I'll reply to members first. Yeah, if you're not a member, just wait a little bit. I'll get to you. I'll get to every single chat. Andrew says, "Wow, I haven't had meeting for a long time." Yes, meeting is so awesome, right? Yeah. Too bad I can't make it on a Saturday or Sunday. We'll be away. Target to go on Wednesday if there is anything interesting. I think most of the big events, the stage events for like the talks from famous photographers or anything big, will happen in the weekends because, you know, like Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays, those are working days, and you know Putrajaya is quite far away. I think most of the brands will focus all the big activities, or at least the popular ones, in the weekends, right? So that's why I want to go on Saturday and Sunday. So those are the days where most people will be able to go, and that's where I can meet more people there, right? Rather than go on an empty Thursday, for example. Yeah. Okay, let's get to the other chat. Santik says, recently the weather has been super hot. It's 37 to 40 degrees. Yeah, my room is now 30 degrees. It's crazy. I'm not joking. It's you can see this. It's 30 degrees Celsius. It's crazy. Yeah. I'm hoping it will drop down to maybe 29, 28 before I sleep. If it does, then it gets a bit more comfortable. Yumi says, "Hi Robin, hope you're well. I'm doing quite alright. I've been quite busy lately, and the hot weather is not helping. So the quality of my sleep is dropping. Quantity is still okay. I still get the same amount of sleep, but I wake up more in the middle of the night because of the heat, and that affects me throughout the day. I think I get tired more easily. I get fatigue, and I don't think I can last the entire day. And even today, I need to force myself to take a nap in the afternoon so that I don't feel too tired now doing this live stream. So yeah, things have been a little bit crazy lately because of the heat wave that's happening in Kuala Lumpur. Jerry says, "Hi from Finland. We have over 20 hours of daylight today. Wow, that means more time for shuttle therapy, right? That's a good thing." Gerard says, "Hi Robin, just raised. I want subscribed, but I've been watching every video you have for a month." Okay, so it means that you have just subscribed, right? Thank you so much for the support, Gerard. Appreciate that. Yes, Santex, based on the rumors. Don't know how true the rumors will be. That's what we want to talk about in tonight's live stream. I think it'll be interesting. Xmida says, "I think it is too early for OM-5 Mark II. They need an OM-10 or OM-PL sooner." What is PL? OM-PL. USB-C is very little issue. Most guys have chargers and card readers anyway. Cable is just backup for traveling. I think it depends on what kind of photographer that you are. Even when I travel, let's say it's a non-shoot travel, right? Unless I'm traveling for a shoot, for a paid shoot, then it's a different story. I'll carry my chargers, everything. I'll pack everything with me, with all the backups and multiple backups, right? If it's not a paid shoot, if it's just for holiday or my personal travel, I'd rather just travel with a USB charger, right? USB-C. I'll bring like 1 or 2 USB chargers, and I'll charge everything with those chargers with USB-C cable. It just simplifies everything. It just makes things so much easier. I don't want to have too many things to carry around with me. And then what if I lost the charger? And you know that the original charger for OM system is not cheap, all right? So yeah, Santi says, I hope video specs will be updated and maybe with 24 megapixels with more computational photography features or new innovation on the body side. Yeah. I hope there'll be more things happening as well. Definitely, definitely. And pair with a new kit lens. I don't think there'll be a new lens coming. That's not in the rumor. I think the rumor is only saying that the new camera is coming. So maybe they'll pair with the existing 12 to 45 f4 Pro, which is the smaller Pro lens. In terms of size, it fits the OM-5's profile better, right? Hey Zoltan, how are you? Nice to see you here, Zoltan. Zoltan says, hi Robin and hello everyone. Let's do this. Yes, let's do this. I'll read a few more comments and then we'll dive into the topic, alright? Gerald says, USB-C and 4K 60 unlimited recording is a requirement for the new camera. In my opinion, it's 2025, not 2015. I agree. Santi says, I mean, a new batch of kit lens from OM system, hopefully a small size, collapsible. No, I think OM-5 is a mid-tier camera. And the lens that comes with OM-5 will not be like the 1442 kind of kit lens. It's usually going to be like 12 to 40 Pro or 12 to 45 f4 Pro. Yeah. Hey Intrigue, how are you? Nice to see you here. Yes, Bird Race. LSS says OM-5 with a new sensor and strong base plate will be awesome. Yeah, it seems like it's kind of strange that the EM-5 Mark III had the problem with the base plate breaking off. But to be fair, I've used EM-5 Mark III for the first 3 years of me filming my YouTube videos. All the videos you've seen in the first 3 years, and we're talking about hundreds of them, in the beginning, I made 2 videos every week. So I use the EM-5 Mark III on my tripod twice a week. I screw it on, screw it off, right? I don't leave the tripod base plate on. I put it on and off every single week without fail, right? For 3 years. And nothing happened to my EM-5 Mark III. I'm not saying that the problem is not valid. That's not what I'm trying to say here. I'm just saying that I'm one of the lucky ones who have not encountered the base plate breaking off. But I admit that if you have done a bit of research, if you went online and seen what people have been saying on the forums, on Facebook group discussions, and it's a common issue that the bottom part of the camera will break off at the tripod area, and it's concerning because it should not happen, right? And what's more concerning is that this was a known problem in the EM-5 Mark III. And when OM-5 came, which is supposed to be the replacement for the EM-5 Mark III, knowing that this problem existed, OM system did nothing to fix it. They did nothing to improve the strength of the base plate. And it's sort of like a little bit frustrating because I can understand that maybe, you have issues with sourcing a new sensor. It's going to be too expensive. You have issues with maybe, if you want to put in a new menu system, it's going to require a new processor and motherboard and everything. So you just recycle most parts. But there are some things, some big issues, like, for example, the tripod base plate breaking off too easily. I think that should be fixed. And the fact that they completely ignored this was a red flag to me in my books. And I hope they don't make the same mistake. There are a lot of things that I can overlook. There are a lot of things that, we can forgive, right? A lot of them are decisions, business decisions. But tripod mount breaking off, causing the camera to fall off at certain height with the lens attached and falling off onto the floor or the hard surface, that is a risk, and that is not good. You get what I mean? So yeah, I hope they really fix this issue, and that's a valid suggestion, LSS. Santic says, OM-5 Mark II with magnesium base plate or metal base roll cage inside. Stack BSI sensor at 24 megapixel would be nice. Yeah. Alright, I will stop here. Don't worry, I'll get to every single chat as usual. But let me just dive into the topic, get it rolling. We have about 100 people watching now, which is good. 106. Alright, so tonight's topic is about the rumor. I don't know if you guys have seen the website, 43 Rumors. I follow them very, very religiously. I've been following the site since the beginning, during the 4/3 time. That's why it's called 4/3 rumors, right? Even before the existence of Micro Four Thirds. And I've been friends with the guy who's running the site. His name is Andrea, amazing guy. We've been chatting from time to time on emails. Really cool guy. So yeah, he's doing well. He even has a YouTube channel. He's doing well. So on his site, he posted that there's a rumor about the OM-5 Mark II coming, I think on this month. It will be announced during an expo. I think BILD, I don't even know what it is, BILD Expo. It's on 16th and 17th of June, which means it will be about 2 weeks from now. So if the rumor is true, the OM-5 Mark II will be announced 2 weeks from now, which is very interesting, which is kind of sad though, because while Camera Fair is next week, it would have been awesome if the camera is announced and then the YL Camera Fair will have the camera for us to try, right? The camera is announced after the YL Camera Fair. I'm like, why? Well, anyway, so if the rumor is true, the camera will be announced in 2 weeks. Now, it is not surprise to me, at least, that the OM-5 will get a successor for a few reasons. Number one, obviously they cannot sell the OM-5 anymore in certain parts of the world, especially the European countries where they need now to at least have the USB-C. The OM-5 has micro USB, so that is a huge impact on camera sales, because I think OM-5 is one of the better selling cameras. Not everyone is going to be able to afford OM-1, OM-1 Mark II. OM-5 selling about half the price of what the OM-1 Mark II is asking for. I think there's a market for that, and not everyone needs like dual cut slots, a magnesium alloy body, a big camera with all the latest and greatest, flashiest specifications. OM-5 is actually quite a capable camera. I have the EM5 Mark III, and having used it for many years, making videos on this YouTube channel, I do love the camera. I can see there's a market, there's a huge demand for the OM-5, and OM-5 Mark II now is coming. That's why I'm not surprised. Now, I've said this already earlier, I'm just going to quickly say it again. I really wish that they fix the base plate problem. It's known that EM5 Mark III and OM-5, the base plate is very fragile. If you use tripod on it, it can break off quite easily. It hasn't happened to me yet, thankfully, but I've heard it happen, and I've seen it happen, and I've seen a lot of discussions online in groups, forums, that the base plate on the OM-5 or EM5 Mark III just breaks off too easily. And I really wish they fixed this, because this is a very, very big issue. Any fragile parts or any parts that is susceptible to malfunction or defect should be fixed. I really hope that they really address this issue. If they don't, I am going to roast them. I don't care. I will be the first person to roast them. That's number one, right? Number two, I really wish that the OM-5, at least, it retains the same size. Now, we have the EM1 Mark II. Okay, I've said that these cameras are a little bit too large. That's fine, because OM system is pushing the wildlife agenda. They want to sell larger lenses like 100 to 400, 150 to 600, the 300 Pro. Those are large lenses. They need large camera bodies to balance the large lenses, I understand. But not everyone shoots with large lenses. I don't do birding. I don't do wildlife. I use small lenses like 25 1.8, 45 1.8. I shoot macro, but the macro lenses are tiny. 60 f2.8 is a tiny lens. So small camera like the OM-5 form factor is perfect for me. On days I'm not doing professional shoots, I admit, if I'm shooting for a job, I prefer my EM1 Mark II and OM1's form factor, the beefier grip, dual cut slots, larger battery, better electronic viewfinder, better build quality, everything, right? But on days that I'm not doing paid shoots, I prefer a camera that's smaller, lighter, easier to carry around. I don't need 2 card slots, I just need 1 card. I don't mind the battery dying sooner. I can just bring multiple batteries. I'm not gonna handle the camera in a very rough manner, so the camera not being as robust, doesn't have magnesium alloy, that's fine for me. So I can see that there is a place for the OM-5. Now, based on the rumor, we don't get a lot of information about what's coming in the OM-5 Mark II. What we do know is that it may inherit the same sensor as the OM-1 Mark II or the OM-1, the 20 megapixels stack BSI sensor. Basically, that sensor will improve the speed readout, so it means that the video specs will be better. So if it's true that the OM-5 is getting the same sensor and the same processor as the OM-1 Mark II, I think what we're going to get is that it's going to be a mini OM-1 Mark II or the OM-3. It's going to be very similar in terms of speed, in terms of video specifications, in terms of what you can do, like 120 frames per second, in terms of autofocus capability, the subject detection, the AI detection and everything. I think it's going to be very, very similar. I don't think the OM-5 Mark II will have anything that will surpass what the OM-1 Mark II can do or the OM-3, because OM-3 is higher now. I think the OM-5 Mark II is going to be like the new OM-10. Think of it this way. Previously, we have EM1, EM5, and EM10. I think now there will be no longer an OM-10. I don't think there will be EM-10 anymore. I think EM-10 Mark IV is the last EM-10 line. I think what's going to happen is that they will have OM-1, that top series, the flagship, the best of the best, right? OM-3, which is an enthusiast camera in the middle, and OM-5, which is at the bottom of all the OM cameras. And that's why the OM-5 is going to be plastic. I don't think it's going to be magnesium alloy built because the metal body goes to the OM-3 and OM-1. It makes sense because this will be the lowest level and the price will be lower than OM-3 and OM-1 as well. But hopefully the specifications will not be too far behind OM-3 and OM-1 Mark II. Hopefully they don't cripple the camera too much. I also hope that we will get some surprise features. I don't know. For example, maybe they can finally enable focus stacking with RAW. Right? What's with only JPEG? That's crippling. I want to use focus stacking, but the thought of like getting the JPEG file at the end was like, why don't I just shoot RAW and stack later? I can get the final benefit of RAW, right? And hopefully, instead of just the ND filter, the live ND, right? We can get ND1000 maybe? Why stuck at ND32, ND64? I think we can do beyond that, a lot more than that. ND1000, why not? Yeah, I think there's a lot that can be improved in terms of computational features. And if they can, which I don't think they care, because if they really care about autofocus, they would have fixed the issue that I've complained in OM-3 and OM-1 Mark II. So I complain about the autofocus problems in OM-1, right? The single autofocus and continuous autofocus not working very well in low light, low contrast situations. The focus just hesitates. And if you compare with EM1 Mark II and EM5 Mark III, the autofocus is just so much more reliable, faster, more accurate, just more efficient, which is a step backwards, and that was worrying for me. That's why I fall back to the EM1 Mark II for my professional shoots. I don't use OM1 for my jobs. If they were serious about fixing this issue, they would have fixed it in OM1 Mark II. They would have fixed it in OM3. I've tried the OM3 recently. The human face in eye detect was, it's even worse than my Nikon Z5, and the Z5 was launched at 5-6 years ago, and the Z5 is an entry-level camera and costs half of what the OM3 is asking for, and yet the autofocus is better than the OM3, especially when it comes to human face in eye detect, right? That's disappointing, and honestly, I'm very sad to say that, hey, a cheaper camera is better, an older camera is better. So I hope they fix that, because it's all just programming, right? They have face detection autofocus, they have fast sensor, right? They have a powerful processor, right? It's all just about programming and writing the right software and putting the right AI deep learning algorithm to properly track the movement of human face and eye. And yeah, hopefully it's on par or at least comes close to what Sony and Canon are doing. And if you've seen what Sony and Canon can do when it comes to human face and eye detect, it is simply mind-blowing, right? So I don't know. Other than that, I don't think there's anything to expect. I'm sure you'll have handheld high-res shot. I'm sure it'll have live composite. The image stabilization will be amazing. 5-axis IS, it will be weather sealed. Hopefully they won't use... Knowing that OM3 uses the older electronic viewfinder, the inferior 2.36 dot electronic viewfinder, I think the OM-5 is going to use the same. I don't think the OM-5's viewfinder is going to be better than OM-3's viewfinder. I don't think that's the end of the world. Depends on the pricing though. The reason why I complain about the viewfinder on the OM3 is because they priced it so high, right? It was $1,999. It was priced lower than I would be complaining about the viewfinder, because at that price, I expected better specifications. I expect better viewfinder experience from the camera, especially I get so much better viewfinder in my Nikon Z5 that costs half what the OM3 is asking for. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully they won't price it crazy, like, I don't know. We'll see. It all depends on the pricing and the specifications balance. What do you guys think? At this point, we don't have a lot of information. I think it's exciting that OM System is releasing a new camera. I think they need to launch a new camera, because without new cameras, nobody's going to buy your lenses, right? And the business model of these camera companies is that they want to sell lenses. That's where the profits are. And if you don't have enough cameras to entice people to buy, then how are you going to move your lenses, right? So with new lenses, hopefully there'll be more people coming into the Micro Four Thirds world, and hopefully more people experience what Micro Four Thirds is all about, and hopefully they'll encourage these people to buy more lenses, and OM System and Panasonic will continue to grow and thrive and survive the marketplace. We'll see. What do you guys think? Or more importantly, what do you guys want to see happen in the OM-5 Mark II? Let me drink some coffee. I'll get to the chat. All right. Andrew says, agreed on the 24 megapixel stack sensor. I think you're agreeing with Suntix, right? Full metal body. I don't think you'll get a full metal body. I think they'll try to keep the price down. This will be the new EM10. I don't think there'll be any more EM10. The OM-5 will take the EM10's spot. And if that's true, then it makes sense that the body will be plastic. And I've mentioned this before, I'm gonna mention it again. I have no problem with plastic body. I'm an engineer. I work in a construction site. I wear safety helmet at all times. It's mandatory. It's important that we protect our heads. What is a safety helmet made of? Plastic. Am I going to complain? Oh, I'm not going to wear this safety helmet because it's plastic. It's not durable. I can't trust that it can protect my head. No. Everyone wears plastic safety helmets. I'm not going to complain and demand I want metal-built safety helmets. I think that's ridiculous, right? If plastic is strong enough to protect my head at a construction site, I have no problem using plastic on a camera. If the camera is built in plastic, of course, it has to be a high-grade plastic, right? Yeah. I will say one thing, with the OM3 out, is there still room for the OM5? Yes, there will always be room for OM5 because OM3 is just too expensive. Yumi says, let's watch OM System bring out another EPL series camera with 60 megapixels. Like the latest interview with the OM System, right? Was it with Petapixel or DP Review earlier in the year? They were saying like, we don't even know what we want to do with the pen. They're not saying no to the pen. They're not saying that they will not make a pen camera. They're just saying that we are currently studying or what we want to do with the pen, meaning that they have no idea what they want to do with the pen camera. So that's the official response from OM System. G-Stem3 after that says, I think they will have issues. What issues though? What issues are we talking about? G-Stem3 after that says, OM-5 Mark II versus Nikon Z5 Mark II. Many 5s Mark IIs in the market. And the Z5 Mark II is a killer camera and it's cheap. Yes, I don't think it can beat the Z5 Mark II and it'll doom it to low sales. I think that's true to some point, but the Z5 Mark II's price is also not that low. I don't know whether the OM-5 Mark II is going to be at the same price as the Z5 Mark II or it's going to be lower. But then again, they are both I understand that, yes, they are both different platforms. The OM-5 Mark II is going to be on a Micro Four Thirds. Z5 Mark II is a full frame Nikon Z mount. And yes, they compete with each other. They're going to eat into each other. But if you look at the Z5 Mark II, it is closer in terms of build and size. It is closer in terms of specifications to OM1. If I were to be bolder to say this. The Z5 Mark II size is the same or maybe slightly larger than the OM1. Or maybe OM1 is larger. I don't know. I should compare them side by side. I haven't seen the new Z5 Mark II yet. And the Z5 Mark II has dual cut slots. The OM1 Mark II has dual cut slots. The Z5 Mark II is weather sealed magnesium alloy body. The OM1 Mark II is magnesium alloy body. And I think it's fairer to compare the Z5 to the OM1. I know in terms of speed, it's not the same. In terms of what the camera can do, this and that, there are some things that the Z5 Mark II does better. There's some things that OM1 Mark II does better. They both have bird detection autofocus. They both have 5-axis image stabilization. I'm sure the OM1 Mark II's image stabilization is better than the Z5 Mark II, but I am very sure that the Z5 Mark II's autofocus is way better than the OM1 Mark II. So it's like, you know, like some things it's better than the OM1 Mark II, some things better than the Z5 Mark II. I don't think the Z5 Mark II will be fairly compared to the OM-5 Mark II. Again, it's price dependent, depending on how OM system price the OM-5 Mark II. But I gotta say this though, OM-5 Mark II is gonna be a lot smaller and lighter compared to the Z5 Mark II. And that itself is a huge appeal, especially if you do street photography. Like myself, I prefer to use smaller cameras. Yeah. GTime3 after that says the Z5 Mark II beats the OM3. But then you can't really compare OM3. Like OM3 is like, it's not a DSLR shape, whereas the Z5 Mark II is a DSLR shape. So I don't think both cameras are meant to be compared. If you want to compare with OM3, then the ZF. ZF from Nikon is a more appropriate camera to compare to the OM3, right? I doubt they can release OM-5 Mark II for as much goodies and cheaper than OM3. Yeah, it has to be cheaper than OM3 because if not, it's just going to be very difficult for them. Yeah. Santic says, OM-5 Mark II with USB-C, this is a must, of course. Since OM system is pushing computational photography, hopefully they will have more functionality with the USB-C port. I don't think they can do much with the USB-C port. You have to understand, the camera is designed to be a camera. A camera is not a smartphone or a computer. It is not designed to function that way. Like the cores of the processor, like for example, in your smartphone, right? Let's say you have a Snapdragon processor. You can use 8 different cores to process a singular task, right? To make it faster, to make it more efficient. But that's not how a camera's processor works. I've talked about this before. I don't know what's happening inside the OM1 or the newer cameras, but the EM1 Mark II, it has dual quad-core processor, meaning that it has 8 cores, 8 individual cores for different tasks. One core is assigned to take care of the 5-axis image stabilization. One core is designed to take care of the electronic viewfinder and LCD screen. One core for autofocus. One core for read and write. One core for RAW and JPEG processing. One core for computational photography, like live composite, handheld high-res shot. You get what I mean? It's like every single core has its function. So you can't just say, oh, okay, I want to add more functionality, but they already run out of cores. If you look at it like from this point of view, right? It's not like, okay, this is like a computer or a smartphone. I just put a software and it will work. That's not how cameras work, right? And I can understand why they don't do it that way, because like if you have used smartphones, no matter how powerful the smartphone is, whether it's iPhone or Samsung, whatever, there is always a lag. It's very annoying, like the screen lags. What you see in the screen is already a few milliseconds behind, right? It's not in real time. And then the autofocus also lags. And when you take the photograph, there's another, it's like a lag on a lag on a lag on a lag. And after you take the photo, it's like you totally missed the moment already. And the experience is just so bad. Why? Because the processor of the phone has to take care of so many programs. The Android operating system, the camera, the screen and everything. It's like it has too many things to do. Whereas the camera's processor is more streamlined. It is very, very specifically tasked to do things a lot more efficiently. That's why cameras are so efficient. There's virtually zero lag when you use any cameras, right? Or at least good cameras. Some older Sony cameras will lag, but I'm sure they've improved in the newer cameras already. So yeah. No, Santix, do not say that. Sarakians will come to you with barang if you say that. Xmina says, guys, OM-5 with alloy body, no. It will not happen. Better sensor, autofocus is already there. Okay, it's called OM-3. Not true. I think OM-3 is too expensive. It is too large, whereas the OM-5 is a lot smaller. They cannot make two identical cameras, but it cannot be OM-5 price level 2. And, well, think about it this way, right? How many times have 4.3 rumors been wrong? And as much as I hated to admit this, like when 4.3 rumors posted about Olympus shutting down, I was the first one to debunk it. I was saying, no, this is not true. I didn't hear about that. And I was connected to Olympus. And it turned out to be true. I think 4-3 rumors have not been wrong. There will be some inaccuracies in their information, the rumors that they get, right? It may not be 100% true, but generally, they are quite on point. So when they say that OM3 is coming, it came. When they say that OM1 Mark II is coming, it came, right? So when they say that OM-5 Mark II is coming, I think it will be coming, right? I don't think there's any reason why all this information is wrong. Yeah. Nah, this is like, I think KL will get snow first before OM-5 Mark II comes, Santix. Pete says, hi Robin, great to see you. Hey Pete, how are you? Nice to see you here. Glad to be seen. GSM3 after that says, if OM-5 Mark II hits like $1,200 US, if Z5 Mark II is just a hair more at 1,700, I believe the 500 is a substantial difference, so the OM-5 Mark II could have a chance, but I don't see how they could release OM-5 Mark II for 800 less than OM3. All this to say that if OM-5 Mark II doesn't bring people or back to Micro Four Thirds, we are slowly sinking. I think maybe not $1,200, maybe 1,299, 139, I don't know. At this point, it's just all speculation, right? But what I know is that they can put the OM-5 Mark II lower than OM-3. First of all, the number is already lower. Second of all, I'm quite sure there are some things that will be compromised. For example, instead of metal build, it will be plastic. It will not have magnesium alloy body. That's for sure. I don't know what else is going to be compromised. We will just have to see. And I think that instead of getting like OM1, OM3, OM5, OM10, it's just going to be OM1, OM3, and OM5. You get what I mean? And if that's true, then OM5 is replacing the EM10 series. So it might get some downgrades, which may in turn bring the price down a little bit, which is not a bad thing because we already have OM3, right? Like you said, it's pointless for OM5 to clash with OM3. If that's true, there might be some downgrade when we look at the coming OM5 Mark II. I don't know. We just have to wait and see. Yeah. GSM3 that says the irony is that we are somehow comparing Z5 Mark II entry level to OM1 Mark II flagship. Something interesting is that OM1 on sale for the 100. I wonder if the pack, the OM5 Mark II, close to it. We'll see. The Z5 Mark II is a full frame camera, so of course, while it is entry level, the camera itself does offer something far more interesting, and that's why when I actually made this particular video not too long ago, right? Not video, but live stream, I talk about why Micro Four Thirds should learn from the Z5. And man, oh man, like when I post this on Facebook, not on the live stream, but on Facebook, I get so much backlash. I'm just going to talk about this a little bit. So I was arguing, I'm saying that this is not even about like, I never said, full frame versus Micro Four Thirds. And if you know me, you know that undeniably, I am a Micro Four Thirds fan. I still shoot with Micro Four Thirds. I believe in Micro Four Thirds. I support Micro Four Thirds. And I genuinely want Micro Four Thirds to succeed. But if they want to succeed and they want to do better, they got to do things a little bit differently. And sometimes to do that, they have to look at what other players are doing. And one thing that caught my eye was Z5. Nowhere in my post I'm saying that, like Z5 is better than Micro Four Thirds or full frame is better than Micro Four Thirds or, you should get Z5. No, I'm just saying that look at what Z5 is doing. This is not even Z5 Mark II, this is Z5. Why is Z5 so interesting is because as an entry-level camera that's priced so low, right, around $1,000 US, street price. I think launch is around 1,200, 1,300, I don't know, around street price is around 1,000, 1,200, right? At such a low price, you get magnesium alloy body, you get weather sealing, you get built-in image stabilization, right? You get face detection autofocus, you get quite reliable human face and eye tracking. Have I said dual cut slots? I think I did, right? And basically, it's like you don't find anything similar in Micro Four Thirds. And that is truly something amazing for Nikon because even I was tempted and I got one and I love the camera. I think it was fantastic, right? And when I posted it out, I'd say maybe Micro Four Thirds should learn about this. Maybe it should incorporate something, like not every camera has to be bloated with all the big features like 120 frames per second, with like all this like handheld high-res shot, with star sky AF, with bird detection autofocus, blah, 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 blah. Strip this all away, but put in what truly matters, like dual cut slots, magnesium alloy body, like really high quality electronic viewfinder, right? The Z5 has better viewfinder than the OM-3, for example. Putting what really matters, it makes a camera experience shooting fun, right? And then we'll have a killer camera. It doesn't matter what format. This applies to everyone, whether it's APS-C, Fuji, Sony, Nikon, Canon, or OM system, Panasonic. It's the same, right? I just want to see what's in the camera, strip away all these bloated features that I'm not going to use and most people don't use, but just put in the key features and make it really competent, make it really capable, and sell it at a reasonable price. Man, I got attacked. The comments saying, oh, but Robin, full-frame lenses are so much bigger and more expensive. I'm like, I'm not asking anyone to go full frame. What the f? And someone say like, oh, but Robin, this the Olympus camera or the OM system camera is faster. The Z5 is an entry level camera. I'm like, what the hell? It's like, and they say, oh, but micro four thirds is still so much better, blah 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 blah. And full frame is da 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 da. I try the full frame and I'm like, oh my goodness. Like at the end of the day, right? After I've gone through, people keep saying that, there's so many full frame trolls, like Sony trolls or Canon Nikon trolls coming attack micro four thirds. It is actually the micro four thirds fanboys that are the most toxic. I'm very sad to admit this. As a micro four thirds fan, the toxicity in the micro four thirds community is the worst. They are just not open to anything at all. Like, if micro four thirds is such an amazing system already, if it's so perfect, why is it doing so poorly in the market? If you are a true fan of micro four thirds, don't you want to see micro four thirds get better? Don't you want them to improve? That's why we are doing these live streams, right? To hash out our ideas so everyone can pull in together the suggestions of what they want so that the camera manufacturers, hopefully OM System and Panasonic, they listen and they actually will implement some of the suggestions, right? Why are we doing this? Or is it so perfect already that you're so blind to see that, micro four thirds is actually dying in the market, right? Anyways, I know I ranted and it went a little bit off topic, but let me just have some coffee. Coffee. Yeah, GTM had 3 up that says, I agree the Z5 and Z5 Mark II is hot. It is battling to the top for OM system is crazy. The upgrade path for Z5 people is clear. Go up and get more megapixels than EVF. For OM1, you are already at the top. Yeah. Alright, Santic says, the heat wave is crazy. Just 5 to 10 minutes under the sun. I got fatigued and feeling tired. Not sure what kind of sun rays or solar flares recently. Yeah, I know, right? Like, went out for a while. I'm like, where is the nearest aircon? Just quickly run to and hide and just stay inside the air conditioned like shopping mall or something. I just don't want to go out anymore. Yeah, Gerald says if OM Systems brings an updated PanF, then they are gonna make money. Well, let's put it this way, right? It's been how many years since the PanF came out? And if they've wanted to make one, they would have made one already. They wouldn't be releasing things like OM3 or, if it's gonna happen, it would have happened already, right? And if it has not happened by now, I don't think it will ever happen in the future. Yeah. Andrew says, thinking you are right, Esmida. The OM-5 Mark II is an odd spot between OM-10 and OM-3. But then again, there was never an OM-10. Andrew? There was EM-10, which belongs to Olympus. So when OM system took over, maybe they decided not to continue the OM-10 line or EM-10. So that's why I'm thinking it makes more sense to just maintain OM1, OM3, and OM5. Yeah. Ying says, maybe unpopular opinion, but all I want is everything to be the same, but with the existing stack sensor, the menu, and USB-C. And price is not too expensive, right? Pricing is very important, right? What did they price like? 1899, 1799 US dollars. That's gonna be crazy. With the similar specs, I think they're gonna get a lot of flack, right? It's all about pricing, really. It's all about pricing. Hey Wolfie, how are you? Wolfie says, hey Robin, nice to catch you live on a usual stream. I hope you're doing well and making lots of creative shots. No worries. I've been shooting quite a lot recently, but mostly for jobs. I haven't had time to do my own personal shutter therapy, but hopefully I'll get some downtime this weekend and go out to do some street photography. Yeah, I'm doing quite alright. Been a little bit busy, but I'm well. I hope the same to you too. Yeah. Pete says, OM-5 new menus would be great. Yeah. I think at this point, if they still use the old menu, they will be roasted alive, right? Like, seriously. So we have OM-1, OM-1 Mark II, OM-3, right? And if OM-5 Mark II does not have the similar menu structure with OM-3 and OM-1 Mark II, that's going to be one of... I mean, they're just giving people bullets to shoot them, right? Yes, I've sold my EM5 Mark III. Sorry, I skipped it. Why sell that to get a new OM-5 Mark II? I talked about this before. I don't keep things that I don't use. That's not true. Okay, let's put it this way. There are cameras that I don't use but I want to keep. For example, the E1 or D50. I don't use those a lot. E1 because it's the first 4/3 DSLR. It has certain value to it. It's like a collector's item. Although I don't use it on very, very regularly, but I keep it. And then Pentax K01. I don't use it a lot, but I keep it because I think it's a very rare item now. And I keep it because I love the camera and it's unique. Now, outside the collector's uniqueness factor, the cameras that I have, I want to make sure that I use them. For example, my main camera now is EM1 Mark II for my jobs. OM1 is my backup. OM1 is also my streaming camera, which you're seeing me through now with the Panasonic 15 f1.7. So these two cameras I'll definitely keep. Backup, another third backup. So EM1 Mark II is the main camera, OM1 is a backup. The third backup is EM1 original. Sometimes I carry 3 cameras out for my shoots just in case. Anything, right? You don't know. Anything can happen. So I've EM1 original as a backup. It is still fully robust. It has proper grip, amazing autofocus, amazing 5-axis IS, great handling, can balance lenses very well. So I have 3 cameras for my jobs. For my street photography, I prefer to use smaller cameras. Cameras like GM1, Panasonic, which I use a lot, or EPM2, or EPL7. All right. I'm trying to sell my EPM1. I'm sure you saw that, Santix, but nobody wants to buy my EPM1. I have no love for that camera because I now already have EPM2. Other than that, there are also cameras that I have that may not be able to get sold because there are some defects. For example, the EM5 is in such a severely beaten condition. You look at it, it's like, wow. You sell me 100 ringgit, I also don't want lah. So I might as well keep the EM5. EM10 as well. My EM10 is in such a beat up condition that I don't think anybody would pay 100, 200 ringgit for it. I'll just rather keep it, right? So having said all this, so there's cameras that I keep because I want to collect them. The cameras that I have because I use them, whether for jobs or for my personal shooting, all right? And then there are cameras that are just lying there doing nothing. Case in point, EPM1, I'm trying to get rid of the camera. Nikon D600, I'm trying to get rid of the camera. I have gotten rid, I've sold off so many cameras already, including Canon 5D. I've also sold off, what else did I sell? Canon 5D, I've sold off, what other things? Even lenses. I've sold some lenses that I don't use already. So EM5 Mark III was originally bought for YouTube. So in my first 3 years, I was using the camera for my YouTube to film videos for my YouTube, right? I don't even use it so much for my street photography because it has swivel screen. I prefer to use tilt screen for my street photography. So my street photography, I use EM1, EM10, EPL7 if I want something really, really small. If I don't really care, then I use GM1. So EM5 Mark III, I think 2 years ago, a friend, her camera broke down and she needed a camera for her projects. She's going to shoot for exhibition, things like that. So I loaned her the camera long term. So she held on to the camera for about 2 years. And she finished her project, did her exhibition, everything is fine. She's done. And she has managed to save up money to buy her own camera. So she has returned the camera to me. And now that I have the camera, I don't use it anymore. I don't see myself using the EM5 Mark III anymore. So I decided, okay, if this is not going to be used, either I give it away or I sell it, right? I've given away cameras before as well. I've given away GM5 to a friend. I've given away, what else did I give? I know I've given Sigma 30 f1.4. I've given a Fuji XF10 to a friend. I've given, what else did I give? I've given cameras and lenses to people instead of selling them, right? So the EM5 Mark III, I thought, okay, let's just sell it to recover some cost. So that's why I sold it off. I hope that answers your question, Santix. LSS says completely agree. No worries. Andrew says Gerard's the EM5 Mark II is awesome. Just watch the battery door as this can have small issues. Okay. Okay, we have some chats from members. Wolfie says, for me, OM-5 is very important because I want to fit something smaller than OM-1 for primes and less lens switching. Exactly. If you want something smaller, OM-5 is tough to beat, even next to the Z5. I understand in terms of value, Z5 or Z5 Mark II is amazing, but OM-5 is, if you want a small camera, something like everyday carry, travel, street, I think OM-5 still has a place. G73 that says, your point about OM-5 Mark II becoming the new OM-10 level is super interesting. I think you're on the right track to get something cheaper for OM-10. It'll have to be way more nerfed than the OM-5 Mark II. How much nerfing or how much changes that they're making, we have no idea at this moment. I'm just, again, pure speculation, right? Uvi says, the most important things I need in the OM-5 Mark II is the new menu, subject detection, same as OM-5, OM-1 or even better improved, and USB-C. Hopefully they implement all these things. G73 that says, and I don't know anyone could have a decision to buy OM-10 for what, like 901,000 is just so nerfed. I don't think the OM-5 is going to be below 1,000 US dollars. I think it's going to be 1,299, 1,499. I don't know. We'll see. Wolfie says, I need the weather sealing for the bad UK weather and the messy mud and the wet nature of playful dogs. As I would use it outside along with the OM1, so no OM10 for me. Sorry. All right. It also makes sense for OM system to have all the cameras or the OM series weather sealed. You get what I mean? It's like, why not just weather seal everything? Make it consistent, right? We talk about OM system. Everything is weather sealed, right? Yeah. Asru says, late to the live. Oh, Midin, I missed that. Hi, Asru, how are you? Live in the wild, can't get here except low quality in Negeri Sembilan. I like eating it like it's the rice and add other dishes. It's so crispy, right? And with sambal belacan. Oh, it's so good, right? Wolfie says for the price, it needs to be between £99 and £1,300 at most. I know the costs are going higher because of Trump tariffs, but I need a whole digital solution to justify why I should pay more than that. I guess we just have to wait for the official announcement, which is going to happen very, very soon in 1 to 2 weeks' time to see what's new in the OM-5 Mark II and what the price is going to be like. I know the feeling, Robin. I have given away so many cameras to help people get into photography. Panasonic GF7, NX10, G1, Panasonic FZ200. Yeah. And yeah, it's like either I sell it off or I give the camera to someone else, right? So that someone will have a better use of the camera. Yeah. Okay. Time check. It is 1 minute past 11. I think I'll put a pause on the chat here and I'll start sharing my set of photographs. But before that, let me drink some water. Gotta stay hydrated. It's extremely hot. It's 30 degrees in my room. Crazy. Do we have some coffee left? We still have? Okay. Let's see. So for members, you may have seen this set of photographs 2 members live streams ago. So that's 2 months ago. So basically, this set of photographs, they are inside macro photographs that I've taken, not so recently. It's taken for a video that I'm making. There's no agenda. I just wanted to go out, have fun, do some inside macro. And in this particular series, I was testing for the first time the AK diffuser that was sent to me by Emily Taupin, OM System Ambassador, who is all the way from the US. And the reason why she sent me that AK diffuser, it's not just the AK diffuser, she sent me the whole care package, including some food, some beef jerky, some, what was that? Some sweets, a book, yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff in the care package. And of course, the most expensive item in that package was the AK diffuser, the macro diffuser. And the reason why she sent that care package to me was as a thank you gift, because I pushed her channel to reach 10,000 subscribers in one of my live streams. She came in and said, hey everyone, just go to Emily Taupin's YouTube, and you know, I saw that she's almost at 10,000. Let's just give her a push, and she got 10,000 subscribers. So that was a thank you gift. I've tried the AK diffuser on the Nikon Z5 while I was testing the Tamron 90 f 2.8 macro lens. I've never tried it on my OM system or Olympus gear. And the reason is because when I'm shooting with my Olympus, I have my own macro technique that doesn't require the AK diffuser. I have a softbox on a flash that I held wirelessly off camera. So I shoot the flash off camera, and I hold the camera and a 60 macro lens with another hand. So it's like, I have my own technique. I've talked about that in one of my videos. So you can check it out if you're interested in how I execute my macro shots. But because I have a new diffuser, it was sent to me all the way from the US, and I was curious about what the diffuser can do. So I thought like, hey, let's just go out and have fun, do some inside macro photography. I brought the OM-1, the 60 f2.8 macro, and the AK diffuser, and I got some inside macro shots. It was at Bukit Gasing. If you're in Kuala Lumpur, you will know where it is. So let me just switch over to the screen here. Hopefully this works. So there you go. Hope you guys can see me. Let me just verify this before I go on and on and like nothing happens, right? Let me just verify this. Hopefully this works. Let's see. Come on, come on, come on. I think it works. Yes, it works. Okay. Ladybug. Man, every time I use the Olympus 60 f2.8 macro, it just never fails to amaze me how sharp the lens is, and the details is just excellent. Now this is the case where I will actually prefer to use a smaller camera like the OM-5 compared to the OM-1. Mainly because I just want to keep everything as small as possible, especially if I was using my single-handed shooting technique, right? I want the lens and the camera to be as slight as possible because I'm holding the camera and lens with one hand. And yeah. But I'm holding this with two hands, so it's just the AK diffuser with two hands, so no problem whatsoever. But again, every little bit of weight counts, so if I can shift off some weight, it'll be appreciated. This is where I think the OM-5 would have been a better solution for me. Yeah, nursery web spider. Look at the details, it's amazing. All right, I think the AK diffuser works if your insect or the spider or the bug is right on top of the leaf. You don't have to rotate the diffuser, or you don't have to angle the lens of the camera away at such odd positions. Then I think it works really, really well. All right, and look at the details. It's amazing. All right. Cricket. I normally don't shoot crickets, mainly because wait. I may have shared this already. Now that I'm thinking back, I may have shared this in one of my previous live streams already. If I have, I'm so sorry. Deja vu is hitting me because I talk about the rats in the leaf. Why I like this photograph, because I seldom see rats in the leaves. I normally just see greens, so I normally don't shoot crickets. And the reason why I chose to shoot this one is because I see some rats in the background. And I've said this exact thing before. I think I've said it more than once. So it could have been, yeah, I could have shared this before in my previous live stream. I'm so sorry if I did, but anyway, let's just go through the the whole set. Yeah, damselfly is always very fun, and look at the detail, right? And yeah, it's just so cool. AK diffuser. I somehow find that the lighting quality is okay. It's very even, distribution is alright, no big issue whatsoever. I just feel that there are times when I wish I can angle the light away a little bit better. It's just the nature of how the light, the diffuser and the flash is on the camera, and it's in a very fixed position. Like you can't just move it away. And sometimes I wish the light is maybe slightly higher, slightly to the side, a little bit more directional to create a more dramatic effect. But that's just the photographer me complaining, right? Sometimes like a direct diffuse light it works just as well. So yeah. And fly, look at the compound eyes. It's crazy. Look at the details on the body. Yeah. Some people will say, Robin, like, you know, why don't you do focus stacking? I'm like, but then the fly doesn't stay still. It moves. I don't know which part of the world you guys are in. Like all the insects here actually move. Yeah. And I don't know, like within 1 or 2 seconds, the fly would have been like 5 centimeters away from here already. So with a flash, at least you can freeze that one particular moment, right? So yeah. Even this particular insect moves so much. It moves a lot. I don't even know what this is, but the eye looks really nice. It has stripes, red and yellow stripes on the eyes, which is pretty cool. Right, it moves a lot. They don't stay still at all. Like, how are you gonna composite all the shots of this fly or whatever this insect is? Keeps moving, right? Yeah. This is not the best shot because the insect that the spider is eating is a little bit obscured. But then this spider is also floating on a web, and there are no ways for me to reach the other angles without touching the web. And if I touch the web, that's the end of it. The spider will just run away. And this is the best I can do. I know this is not the best shot. I'm just showing, hey, I don't get wins all the time. There are some failures as well in my shots, so sometimes not showing you all the good shots. There are some bad shots as well, and this is one of the not so good shots. So yeah. And 2 flies going at it. Do you guys remember seeing this? I know members would have seen this 2 months ago. I checked that. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this already. If you have, I'm so sorry. So I'm just gonna probably speed this through. But yeah, just checking out the details of the eyes and then everything. It's pretty cool. Yeah. And at first I thought this particular insect died because it seems like the moss or whatever fungus is growing on it already, but it moved. It actually moved. I was like, what? And I thought this was like maybe the skin that was molted. I don't know, but it actually moved. I saw it moved. So yeah, it's still alive. So anyway, so just wanna go in close and see the details. It's crazy. Yeah. Jumping spider. I mean, how can you not love jumping spider? And look at the details. It's crazy, right? Look at that. Yeah. Jumping spiders. This particular jumping spider is not small. This is one of the larger ones. And it actually jumped on my lens. My goodness, it was crazy. I like this particular shot because this is actually the tree bark. So I was shooting this from top down. This is one of the weirder angles that I shot on. I was shooting this top down. The spider is actually on the tree bark, and I like that there are very nice textures on where the spider was standing on, which is rather than just a smooth leaf or like an empty branch or something. At least on the ground or the position where the spider is at, there's like a lot of texture happening. I love like how photography texture actually added a lot of details and layers and depth to the photograph. So I really love this shot. Yeah. Same jumping spider, like 5 seconds later, it's jumped elsewhere. How the hell do people do focus stacking? Like, do you guys bring the spider back and freeze it in your freezer or something? And look at the position. This is the exact same spider, right? Like, man, it's just impossible. See, it's like different leaf again. This keeps. That's why it's called a jumping spider, right? It keeps jumping, right? Jump and jump and jump and jump. And the next thing, it just jumped on my lens. Yeah. It's a butterfly. I did not get the eye in focus on this one. Look at the eye, it's out of focus. But I don't care. I don't care. It's just, I like this because again, there's red in the frame. And yeah, the butterfly has some orange on the wings, which is pretty cool. It sort of like balances the deep greens that dominated the frame. So there's a red, orange, green, and some whites as well down there, which is pretty cool. And look at the texture. It's just amazing. Look at the texture. It's all about textures, right? When you shoot like insect macro. So I have another shot of a spider, nursery red spider eating something. And as you can see, this particular one fly is not exactly that small. It's quite huge. So I attempted a shot from above. And I tried another shot from a different angle. So in this angle, you can see the eye of the fly. And you can see that the spider is trying to wrap its web around the fly. Sort of like mummify or tie the fly, so that the fly will be immobilized, which is pretty cool. I did not stay for the whole process. I was moving on and on and on. So it was pretty nice getting this shot. Yeah. All right. different nursery rat spider, same species, but another one at different location. I took this shot because I like the leaf that this spider is on. It has some really cool colors as well. It's on the leaf that has more patterns and texture than the other leaves. So yeah. I think this is the last shot already, close-up shot of the nursery web spider. So this particular session, it was just the 60 f2.8. I did not attach extension tubes. I did not attach the Nisi close-up filter. Maybe I'll go out another time to use the Nisi close-up filter or the extension tube to go much closer. This time, again, like I said, I don't really have any agenda. I just wanted to test and see how the diffuser works, the AK diffuser on the Olympus 60 f2.8. This is my first time I'm using this combination. I thought it worked quite well. All right, so I foresee myself using this more in the future because it's quite easy to use. But then again, if I'm really trying to get more serious shots, if I want to get like better dramatic lighting and everything, more control of my light, then of course I will use my own single hand off-camera wireless flash technique. That'll be better. Like you can see, this is perhaps 1 second apart. How are you gonna stack this photo? How? Like, I don't know. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed these photographs. Let me just get back to the chat. Let me drink more water. Just stay hydrated. I'll get to the chat and get back to the OM-5 Mark II topic. Yeah. What time is it? It is already 15 minutes past 11, and we have 119 people watching. Okay, let's get to members chat first, if we have members chat. Luffy says, I had a look and played a bit today with the Nikon ZF, right? ZF with blue leather, and I found it so much more comfortable and better in my hand with the small rig extended grip that I had in the store. Yeah, definitely. That's the kind of camera that you need to attach an extension grip just to make sure that you have better handling. Yeah. I love it more than the OM-3, and I was so tempted because they had the camera used for 1,400 pounds, and that's with a full-frame sensor and ZF autofocus and subject detection. OM-3 feels so expensive, I know, right? And yeah, when I mentioned that, people say, but Robin, you are so anti OM system, right? You're sour grapes, whatever. I'm like, what? I'm just saying the truth, right? Anyways, it's like I can't say anything bad about OM system at all. And this is weird because when I was an ambassador, I remember bashing them quite a bit. Whenever I see something wrong, things that I don't like, I will say it, right? Yeah, like for example, this happened quite recently. I was talking about the limitations of live ND, right? And the reason why I said that live ND is not very practical is because number one, you can't use it for video. Number two, you can't use it with flash. And number three, you can use it with fast shutter speeds. The shutter speeds are limited. And you know, like the reason why people use ND filters is not just for slow shutter speeds, right? People use it for video shooting. Like I use all the videos that you see me, of course not here, this live stream, because this is a controlled environment. I can control the amount of light coming in, so I don't need ND filter. But if I'm shooting outside, outdoor, I need ND filters. All my videos are shot with ND filters, right? And you can't do that with the live ND. And then I also talk about like, okay, if I were to do flash outdoor and if I want to shoot at f1.2, f1.8, obviously with flash, I can't just limit the sync, right? So I need faster shutter speed, but that will cause a lot of problems. So if I want to maintain at 1/250, then I need the ND filter to balance the exposure, right? And you can't do that with the live ND for creative flash outdoor photography, shooting at bright apertures, right? And obviously, I also can't use the live ND with fast shutter speeds. Like for example, if I want to shoot at f1.2, for example, lens, right? I don't want things to overexpose, then I put an ND filter, but I can't do that because the shutter speeds are so slow. I can only use it for like slow shutter speed shots, right? So there's just so many limitations. And someone actually, this is in the Facebook post, someone say, "Oh, Robin, you are such a horrible person. Like, you know, I'm sure when you were, if you are still an Olympus ambassador, you would have said things differently." And here is the thing. I dug back things that I said 5 years ago on Live ND. I made a video about it. You can search on my YouTube channel. I actually made a video talking about Live ND, describe how to use it, what it is, how to use it, tips and tricks. And I've listed all the same limitations, exactly the same. So I went back to that person and said, hey, you know what? 5 years ago, I talked about Live ND, and I said the exact same things. So you said it, I would have said things differently if I was an Olympus ambassador. I was an Olympus visionary back then, and I still said the exact 100% same thing. Instead of apologizing, he threw all kinds of weird accusations at me, saying all kinds of horrible things without any evidence again. I was like, wow, you know, like people really want to hate. Like, this is why I said, like, OM system and Micro Four Thirds fanboys are the worst. You cannot say one thing that is bad about it. You just say one thing, even if it's the truth. Like the Live ND, I'm not bashing OM system, I'm just saying that Live ND would have been a lot more useful if it has better functionalities, right? And you can't say it, right? If you just say it, it's like, wow, Robin, you are sour grapes. You know, like, wow, you know, like when you were with Olympus, you're saying good things about Olympus. Now that you're not with Olympus, you're saying all the horrible things. I'm like, no. I said the exact 100% same thing. And this is very important to me because integrity is very important to me. I want to be consistent. If the things that I said 5 years, 10 years ago, I meant it. I still meant it today. Nothing's changed. I remain consistent. Consistency, integrity, credibility, these are very, very important traits for me. What's the point of me doing camera reviews? What's the point of me sharing about photography on my YouTube channel if I don't have integrity, if I'm not credible? If I keep changing my mind, like one day I say these things about Olympus, tomorrow I say different things. No, I remain consistent. And even though I've proven that I've remained consistent, that guy refused to admit his mistake and still wanted to throw all kinds of insults. Come on, like, how much of a fanboy can you be, right? Like, and he's such a fanboy that he can't see that I'm on his side. I'm on Micro Four Thirds' side. I'm not against Micro Four Thirds, right? If we don't push for them to get better, they're just going to be complacent. And look at them, they're not doing well. So anyways, yeah, again, I've gone off topic, blah, blah, blah. Blame the hot weather. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit angry out of no reason. But yeah, let's get to the chat. No worries, Gerard. I appreciate that. Pete says, yeah, I think I'll have the OM1, OM3 sensor. Okay. Pete says, new menus, a metal base plate will be great. Hopefully they improve the base plate's durability. It doesn't have to be metal because metal can bend or deform. That can cause problems as well. Doesn't mean that metal will be stronger than plastic. You get what I mean? So metal will have metal's problem as well. Yeah. I don't think the viewfinder will be better than OM3. I think it will probably get the same exact viewfinder as the OM-5 Mark 1 and the OM-3. That's my thought. Hey Jeff, how are you? Nice to see you here again, Jeff. Let me drink some coffee. All right. Mohammed Fajar says, today VO3 makes an AI video close to reality video. How video camera improve this feature in future? Will OM system include AI technology in their cameras? I think this is a very sensitive topic, right? I think the creatives or the artists are actually very against generative AI. And I can understand where they're coming from because it is eating into their livelihood. It is eating into their own creative vision. And it is eroding the value of art, right? They are spending hours and hours and hours drawing, creating, making art, original art, whereas like AI can just poof, come out just like that with one click. So yeah, this is an ongoing debate about this. And should camera companies implement this generative AI in the camera? That's very, very, very interesting. But I don't think I'm qualified to talk about this. I think this should be a separate discussion altogether. MC says no, unless they have a new sensor already in the pipeline for OM-5 Mark II and OM Mark III and make them more video-centric. Why should it be more video-centric? Why shouldn't it be more photo-centric? Why should people want to do video? I think Jimmy Chang, 2 nights ago, was it last night? Last night he was live, Red 35. He made a very good point. Like, all these hybrid cameras are getting out of hand. Like, you can't do both. You can only do one thing at one time. You can either shoot photo or video. You cannot shoot photo and video with the same device at the same time. If that is true, if I'm shooting photo, I don't mind carrying a photo camera. And if I want to shoot video, I don't mind taking another camera out of the bag to shoot video. And this is always the case. Like, when I'm actually on a job, if I want to shoot photo, I'll take a camera to shoot photo. And I'll delegate another camera to do video. I don't see the point of having a hybrid camera, one camera to do everything. If you are a professional camera and videographer, you will have more than one camera anyway. Right? You're not gonna say, oh, I just want one camera to do everything. No, that's not the case. You gotta figure out what you want to do and buy the right tool to do the job. And all these hybrid cameras, they put so many things in the camera, people buy it, they only use like 1% of what the camera offers. And the other 99% of the features they never touch. What's the point? And it's so expensive, right? Yeah. Alex says, I hope it will have built-in ND filter. Yeah, just talk about how useless the ND filter is. Okopio says, in some part, I think they need to have more AI technology for improving their AF and also improving their low light shooting, like recent smartphone features. Recent smartphone features, low light shooting is horrible. What are you talking about? Pete says, yeah, I have the Z5 Mark II along with the OM-1 Mark II. What are your thoughts, Pete? Tapper says, wishing for a return to OM-5 Mark II build quality, but don't expect it. Yeah, depends on what approach or what strategy they are going with the OM-5. If my speculation is true, that the OM-5 is going to replace the OM-10, so instead of having EM1, EM5, EM10, now it's OM1, OM3, and OM-5. So OM-5 is the default lowest level OM camera, right? If that is true, then it's going to be plastic. OM3, OM1 will be metal. OM1 is the strongest with magnesium alloy. OM-5 is going to be plastic and made to be cheaper. Xmina says, OMPL like EPL? Okay, just with 20 megapixel sensor and slightly updated autofocus? Nah. They were asked by Petapixel earlier this year, like, hey, do you have any plans to update the pen line? They say, we have no idea what we are doing. We have no idea what we will do with the pen line. That's the official answer. So if in the beginning of the year they said they have no idea what they're doing, or they no idea what they want to do with the pen, then I don't think we'll see anything pen related coming that soon, right? Yeah. Tapper says, I tried the Z5 too compared to the EM1 Mark III. I found it poor ergonomically. It is a great value though. Really? That's interesting. I actually prefer holding the Z5 compared to the OM1. But I haven't held the Z5 Mark II, so I don't know how different it is. But I gotta say though, yes, EM1 Mark III and EM1 Mark II, because EM1 Mark III and EM1 Mark II is very similar, right? So I was saying Z5 versus OM1. EM1 Mark II, yes, the handling is amazing. And EM1 Mark II and EM1 Mark III is very, very similar. That I agree. But I wouldn't say it is poor ergonomically. I would say that EM1 Mark III is better than Z5. Definitely better in a lot of ways. But there's no way that the Z5 is poor ergonomically. The camera that's poor ergonomically is OM3. Mai says, OM should also release new lenses and refresh the existing glass lineup. That's why I talked on Monday. Did you see my video? Hey, Emily! Emily is in the house! How are you, Emily? Nice to see you again. I'm a huge fan. Guys, if you don't know who Emily is, Micro Four Nerds, she's a major supporter of Micro Four Thirds, so much so that she named her channel Micro Four Nerds. And I just love everything that she does. She's a fantastic photographer, super, super talented. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed to her channel, please check her channel out and watch some of her videos. Give some comments and subscribe to her, show us some love and support. Yeah, new menus and I will be happy. And recently, Emily has been putting out a lot of content on the OM-5. There was one about OM-5, why she loves the camera, and another one about the OM-5 versus the OM-3. So a lot of OM-5 cameras coming from Emily. Is that hinting something that's about to happen, Emily? Something that we don't know? You can tell us, we will not tell anyone. Hey, let's get to the members chat. Wolfie says, I found the diffuser works best with clear space enough for the diffuser to fit in without disturbing the environment and to shoot at the subject's eye level or from top down and only in landscape. Okay. I have the FLM3 and FL700 weather resistant, but I haven't figured out how to pair them to shoot wirelessly. There are multiple ways to do that. One would be through the in-camera menu. I don't do that. So basically what I did was I set the FLM3 to manual flash, right? No wireless connection, just manual. Meaning that it doesn't fire twice, because if it's TTL, it's going to fire twice. The first is just to gauge the light, to calculate the metering, and then the second is the actual, after it's figure out how much light to fire, then it'll fire the actual flash subsequently, right? So I disabled TTL, just full manual, just single stroke. And on the flash itself, it's just manual slave. And I control the flash power manually as well. So it's manual slave, wireless, right, without any communication with the camera. So it's optical trigger, so meaning that if you fire the flash on the FLM3, it's going to trigger the slave flash wirelessly with no communication whatsoever. And I find that it works most effectively for my insect macro shooting. Wolfie says, when I do shoot the Godox V350 Mark II with the Nano X transmitter, there are blind spots in the communication signal where if the flash is too close to the transmitter, it will not trigger the flash. I've not encountered that problem with my own technique. Andrew says, yep, we have seen the files. Remember I said Olympus, only fans, only flies. Yeah, I know, right? But Andrew, you are a member, right? So you've seen this in a members only live stream. But I don't remember sharing, well, now that I'm trying to remember, maybe I've shared it during the public live stream. So anyway, I hope I have not. Wolfie says, the focus stacking I do is with 5 to 20 images at f5.6 or f8 in sequence with V350, and it captures so fast it doesn't have time to react. It takes a second at most. Not all work, but some do. Even in that 1 second, they move. They move, right? And 5 to 20 images, is that even enough though? I will imagine it sometimes you need more than that, right? Yeah. Thanks, Wolfie. I appreciate the kind words. Wolfie says, ideally, I would have my OM-1 set for birding and wildlife with long lens, OM-5 Mark II for macro, so I can switch between the subjects in my adventure walks. Yeah. You don't have to switch lenses, right? It's just so much easier that way. Yeah. G73 Habitat says, us micro photos users are so beaten to depression. We are wishing for OM-5 Mark II to have new menu, best plate, not to break. Does this get anyone to upgrade? And from what? Yeah, we'll see. I think it's either way, it's still going to be an interesting release from OM System, and they need to release a new camera to generate more hype and interest in the brand, right? They can't just have an OM3 and nothing else for the rest of the year. So a new camera is definitely welcome, especially now in the middle of the year. So yeah. Yes, hi Emily. Emily rocks. I know, right? Hey Juliet, how are you? Juliet says, hi Robin, and hello Emily. How wonderful, my two favorites. Ergonomics is very subjective. I'm petite and have very small hands. I also tend to get tendinitis, so the EM Mark II and smaller, but not always. Understand. I guess you just pick and choose whatever that works for us the best, right? Who says, hey Emily, can I ask your personal experience for subject detection and AFC for dogs, especially running around? I don't have a dog, so Emily will have to help me with that. I'm a little bit behind in terms of comments, so let me try to catch up. Hey Kevin, how are you? Hi Robin. I'm out to KL in the next week for 2 weeks. Hope to catch up with you. Yeah, drop me an email, Kevin. Next 2 weeks. Let me see. Next week should be okay. Next week will be the YL Camera Fair. And the following week, I'll be going to the Fraser's Hill. So it's best to avoid the weekends. Yeah, I think the best time to catch up will be weekdays. Drop me an email. We'll see. Kevin says, more choices in the micro four thirds is not a bad thing. That is true. We definitely need something new. Something released from OM System, right? Lenny the Lens says, I can't see that the OM-5 Mark II can be much different from the original without stepping on the OM-3 other than the plastic body. I can't see that it will get a new megapixel sensor or image stabilization. I don't think it's meant to overstep the OM-3. I don't think it's meant to surpass the OM-3. I think it's meant to be a lower level camera, a refresh of the current OM-5 to replace it with USB-C and maybe some updated features, new sensor, better menu, and maybe some performance boost, which is more in line with the OM-3 and OM-1, right? It's not supposed to be better than OM-3 and OM-1. Yeah. Okay. Tapper says, OM system seems to act like it has no competition. Fake it till you make it, right? Pete says, I love Micro Four Thirds and full frame APS-C emitter format, etc. Let's all be friends. Yes, and that's the thing about photography. If you are a photographer, you will love all cameras. You will love all brands. Like, put any camera in front of me, whether it's medium format or a rangefinder or a smartphone or a compact point and shoot, 1-inch APS-C full frame, Micro Four Thirds, whatever. Just put it in front of me. I will go crazy. Because as a photographer, you should enjoy photography regardless of the tool, right? A camera is just a tool, and you should love all brands because they are all here for a reason. They all contribute different things to the community, to the industry. They all bring something to the table. They all push each other to be better, right? Competition is not a bad thing, and there's no reason for you to hate any particular camera or any brand. There's no reason for you to bash anyone. It just doesn't make sense. And to a point where some people are so defensive, they don't see that I am actually on Micro Four Thirds side. Like, why are you attacking me? Right, you are a Micro Four Thirds fan, you are an OM system fan, sure, but I'm not your enemy. Like, why are you picking a fight with me, right? It just doesn't make sense. So anyway, yeah. Dave says, hi Robin, I think the one thing is definitely better on OM systems than on Olympus is the naming. Yes. Like, finally, right? Rather than like Olympus OMD EM1 Mark II. Oh my goodness. OMD EM1. Like, OMD EM1 Mark II. Like, no, it's just OM1, right? OM12, or OM3, OM5 is just so much better, right? Yeah. Andrew says the OM10 line was always a non-starter for me since the EM5 was just a better deal overall. I think back in the day, it makes more sense. It was EM1, EM5, and EM10. EM1 was the flagship. EM5 is so close to EM1 that sometimes there's no difference. Like EM5 Mark II in some ways are better than EM1. For example, EM5 Mark II has high-res shot that EM1 doesn't have. EM5 Mark II's image stabilization is better than EM1. EM5 Mark II has like better video recording capabilities, all intra everything. EM1 doesn't have. Like, overall, if you really look at just specifications, EM5 Mark II is better than EM1. But when you look at EM10, there's a clear differentiation because EM10 is not weather sealed. It doesn't have magnesium alloy body. It doesn't have all these top tier features, all this focus stacking, all these crazy features like phase detachment under focus. It's just more stripped down compared to EM5 and EM1, right? Whereas the EM5 and EM1 is like so close to each other at that time. Of course, as time went on, things got drifted apart, and EM5 and EM1, the gap grew bigger and bigger. Yeah. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name. Well, the OM-5 Mark II use stack sensor. Who knows? We're all speculating at this point. Will the noise be much better at high sensitivity? Who knows? Whether it's a new sensor or not, right? Will it have film simulation features of the OM3? Nobody knows, right? Until it's released. Mai says, it will be interesting if OM decides to continue the previous EM1X series. It will be amazing for motorsport photographers since it's somewhat smaller than the Z9 and R1. It will be a good move. But then again, EM1X was a failure. And as we have talked about in one of the previous live streams about the EM1X, it was the trigger point for the downfall of Olympus. It was the EM1X. If EM1X never existed, if Olympus went straight to EM1 Mark III, right? I think things would have been gotten a lot better for Olympus. They would probably still be alive. It was EM1X that started. It's not the main reason or the only reason, but it's the start, the trigger point to start the ball rolling until everything just went out of hand. And when Olympus finally gave up on the imaging business and it was carved out by JIP and become OM Digital Solutions today. It was all, if you trace back all this event, it all started to happen during the EM1X. So somehow, if we can go back in time and prevent the EM1X from happening, maybe we will still have Olympus today. Yeah. Dave says, full metal body cameras are heavier and many of Nikon full metal DSLRs and lenses have rubber issues. Okay, what rubber issues? What happened to the rubber? Interesting. Wolfie says, Robin, I had a shuttle therapy session with the street photography in Taunton? How do you pronounce that? A few hours ago with the E620 and 25 f2.8, and it's so much fun. I want to keep using it now. Yeah. That was the first pancake lens for 4/3. 25 f2.8. I wish they have, maybe not the exact same one, maybe make it smaller and better. 25 f2.8 for micro 4/3. That would be so awesome, right? Yeah. Juliet says, next week Fuji has the X Summit where they announce new gear. The XE5 is going to be a stiff competition. We'll likely buy it because it's primarily for street. Do you think OM-5 Mark II can stand up? I guess we'll just have to wait until both cameras are announced. I don't know if the XE5 is going to have image stabilization. If it's going to be the same as the XM5 that has no image stabilization, then the OM-5 wins. Easy. Image stabilization, more important than everything else. Mika says, I feel like OM Digital Solutions acts like it doesn't have competition because their previous competition has moved on to full frame. I think, no, they have competition. It's just that they refuse to see them and they refuse to fight. Like, they should have just listened to the customers, right? Because the consumers, the end users, they always give them feedback on what they want. And by choosing to ignore the customers, that's what led to the downfall, right? Yeah. Let's see. Wolfie says, I think Olympus took the lesson of butthurt customers of EM1 Mark I and didn't have the new features of EM5 Mark II because it's not a flagship camera, that they learned the wrong lesson after that. Yeah. But I think EM5 Mark II was nice because it pushed certain boundaries. Like, for example, it was the first to introduce the 40 megapixels high-res shot, the pixel shift method, right? It was the first to really push the image stabilization limits to the point it's even better than the original EM1. And that camera was really ahead of its time. I thought it was really nice. G3 Update says, the XE5 doesn't have an infrared viewfinder. I think, therefore, the OM-5 Mark II can still compete. However, the Fuji name in the film simulation seems to keep Fuji in social media, which helps drive the camera sales. I don't know the current situation, but last year they were not doing that well. They were only at about 5% overall in the world market. So 5% compared to Nikon was what, 13%? So, and everyone is so much bigger, right? So yeah, I wouldn't say that they were doing so well. Wolfie says, Olympus started releasing previous generation camera inserts, EM5 Mark II and OM-5, EM5 Mark III, EM1 Mark II, OM-5, EM1 Mark III. Okay. G3 that says, I don't see OM3 noted on other OM cameras color dial grabbing much attention from Fuji film simulations. I do feel like this is a good direction, but they need to focus on this while it's new. Okay. I think film simulation is just pointless. At least that's to me. It's just an overbloated hype, and if it's working so well, Fuji would have sold more cameras than Nikon and Canon, but they did not. And don't even get me started to talk about Sony. So no, don't copy that because it's not doing well. Juliet says, yes, XE5 is supposed to have image stabilization this time. Hopefully it has, because if it doesn't, then yeah, it's just not going to be able to compete. 40 megapixels. But then again, I heard a lot of people saying that the new 40 megapixel image sensor from Fuji is not that great. The previous 26 megapixels one is better. I don't know how true this is. I've never compared, never used them extensively. I've just like played briefly with it. Yeah, the 40 megapixel is not really such a big deal. It's like a step backwards. More megapixels is not really that better. G73 that says, oh goodness, I mistake the XE5 for SM5. This is interesting. SM5 is already launched. It's been out for like, what, half a year? I even made a video about it. So, yeah. So, okay, let's see. Is the adhesive? Okay. Kunal says, new menu system, flip up screen, autofocus and send-body at £999. I think if it's an OM10, it will be $999, but OM5, I don't think it'll be $999. I think it'll be $1,299 at best. Okopio says, micro photo system is lack of beginner camera, especially OM system, but I love Olympus beginner camera because they always have image stabilization. Only I hope they release OM5 Mark II with cheaper price like Lumix G97. We'll see. We'll see what kind of strategy. If they are going to establish the 3 OM cameras like OM1, OM3, OM5, then maybe we're going to get a lower price for the OM5 Mark II. Maybe. You've given away GM5? Yes, I did. that it's a very rare item and prices have shot through the roof. I gave it away to a friend, and the friend still has it, and the GM5 is still alive. Dave says, is it expensive to use air conditioning in Malaysia? It is not. It's by choice. I think it's healthier not to have air conditioning. And this heat wave is just temporary anyway. And normally, on normal days, during non-heat wave times, right, it gets quite cold at night and I have to use a blanket to sleep. So it's not like I need air conditioning every single day for the 365 days, right? Tapas says, pricing is OM System's main problem. I agree. Hard to justify compared to competition, but maybe they have a little choice. I don't know. Yeah, I hope they improve their pricing strategy, because at this point, people are just going to go to Fuji, Sony, Canon, Nikon, right? Mai says, OM3 is trying to be something that is clearly not. I'm not hating it, but OM is basically pulling a 250cc bike, so at the price of 1000cc one. Yeah, understand. Yeah, Tapper says, the detail on the fly is amazing. Yeah, that's lens. It's not camera, right? A lot of people say, oh, I want a better camera, but sometimes the lens is the one that's doing the heavy lifting. And in this particular case, it's the 60 f2.8 macro. GainRef says, most people that focus stack on inside usually freeze them, which is morally questionable. I know, right? Definitely morally questionable. Muhammad Fajar says, you must take picture of fungus, Robin, like Marja. Yeah, but I'm not a fan of fungus, right? I prefer things that are like insects, bugs, things that have eyes. You get what I mean? Like, don't really like fungus. Yeah. I'm not safe for work. Prosy says, Spider wanted to check the camera. Yeah. No, more like Spider wanted to check the lens, the 60 f2.8. Yeah, jumping spiders are awesome. I know, right? Kevin says, amazing macro shots. Where do you take them from? Those were at Bukit Gasing. It's about 5 kilometers from where I live. It's in Petaling Jaya, Bukit Gasing. It's a forest reserve. Thanks, Ania. I appreciate the kind words. Tapper says, Robin, have you used the 90 macro? No. Too huge, too heavy, too expensive, and unnecessary. Anya says, my macro pictures are not yet as good, but working on it. It takes a lot of practice and patience, and yeah, given time, I think macro is the one photography genre that doesn't require a lot of creative input. It is mostly just technical execution. What you need to do is to get as close as possible. The biggest mistake is people don't get close enough. Go as close as you can and make sure that your focus is accurate and make sure that your lighting is spot on. You get a banger shot, right? It's not that complicated, yeah. But it takes a lot of practice and shooting discipline to get it right. Gigi Walaf says, jumping spiders are the best. I use my EMA Mark III with 60 macro. Awesome setup. Yeah, you can basically get the same results as what I did. 20 megapixels, same image quality at lower ISO 200, right? Yeah. Hey George, you can subscribe to YouTube Premium if you don't want ads. Pete says, wow, fantastic macro shots. Thanks, Pete. I appreciate that. Tepper says, use Brave Browser. There are many ways to get around the problem, right? Okopia says, amazing shot. I never shot macro before. I think I have to try it in the future. Yeah, give it a try. I think macro is so fun. Yeah. Jidam says, I get the Fuji isn't doing well from your point of view, but they are kicking OM's butt. So you're going to fight the fish next to you. I think the reason why OM system is losing is because Olympus gave up on the imaging business. And it doesn't help that Panasonic moved to full frame. Or not moved, but they started the L-mount alliance, right? So the two big players, or perhaps the only important players of Micro Four Thirds are basically giving up on Micro Four Thirds, right? Olympus just solved the business, and Panasonic went full frame. So there you go. Like, how do you expect them to fight Fuji? Yeah. Luffy says, Robin, I would like to ask your personal opinion just between the two of us and all the chickens in here. If the OM-5 Mark II will be a disappointment for me and won't buy it, which Nikon to buy for me? I think maybe wait until the OM-5 Mark II is officially launched, because at this point it's very hard to justify. And like, as much as I would like to recommend a Nikon for you, the OM-5 has its place. Hopefully OM system will not disappoint us. Yeah. Juliet says, I agree with compliments on your macro shots, Robin. They are incredibly sharp. I'm not surprised. I love your style of street too. I like to spend more time with macro. Yeah, macro is more like you don't have to think about how to compose or storytelling or like decisive moments or or a lot of other things. Even lighting, you can control the light. It uses flash and diffuser, right? So you've already controlled the light. Basically composition is just get as close as possible, and with a stroke of luck, meaning that you have to shoot a lot, you gotta find more dramatic things happening, right? Like a spider eating something, or two insects having sex, or an insect is molting, or something interesting that's happening, right? Then you get a very interesting macro shot. So it's more like not so much you can do creatively, but more like how controlled you are or how confident you are in the technical execution. Yeah. Let's see. Thomas says, OM-5 Mark II will need a 24 megapixel sensor. 20 in 2025 is pitiful. It's not too big of an ask for a small increase in megapixel count. I think the next new sensor will not happen in the OM-5 because OM-5 is like at the bottom of the OM series camera. If my speculation is true, I think the new sensor we'll probably see in the OM-1 Mark III. Yeah, they better put a new sensor in the OM-1 Mark III, because if they don't, man, the amount of backlash is going to be historical. The drunk wedding photographer says, all fanboys are the worst. I use Nikon and people say I hate Nikon because I always say non-pro Canon lenses are more affordable compared to the non-pro Nikon lenses. And just because we spill some facts and people just can't take it, they take it as an attack. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm just saying it for what it is, right? Like, seriously, some people are just horrible. Kevin says, hi Robin from Sebago Lake, Maine. Hey Kelvin, very nice to see you. Teba says, Robin, your honesty over the years is why you were always my favorite Olympus guy. I don't trust people who only behave as cheerleaders. Yeah, like, when I say something wrong, I will say it, right? Like, why do I want to hide it? Like, and here's the thing. I don't think I change. You get what I mean? Like, whether I'm an Olympus ambassador, before I was an Olympus ambassador, before I was an Olympus employee, I was already an Olympus fan. So I was an Olympus photographer, and then I was an Olympus employee, and then I quit and become a photographer, and I become an Olympus visionary, and then I quit, and now I'm independent, right? Throughout the years, I don't think my opinion changed much. There might be some small things that change, but I've always been open, right? I never liked the 17 f1.8. I've said that 10 years ago. I still say the same thing. I never liked the Panasonic 20 f1.7. I've said it many years ago. I still say the same thing today. There's some things that I don't like about certain cameras like the Pan F. I never liked Panasonic colors. There's some things about Olympus cameras that I don't like the EM1X. I've said that the camera is a little bit pointless. I've said it even when I was a visionary, right? I've said some things about the features that need improvement. For example, the live ND, I've said it before. I'm not the one that changed. So when people say that, Robin, you change, like now that you're no longer with Olympus, you're not an Olympus ambassador anymore, you've changed. Your tone has changed. I don't think I'm the one that changed. I think it is the people that changed the opinion on me, right? I am not the one that changed, but it's the people that revised the opinion. Okay, Robin is no longer an Olympus visionary, now he's the enemy. I'm like, whatever, right? Yeah. Alex says, I personally would like to buy a camera that is photocentric. I don't like hybrid due to compromises. I agree. It's like you try to make it a video camera, you put so many things there. You try to make it a photo camera, you put so many things there, but it doesn't excel in either photo or video. It's always, like you said, it's always a compromise. Yeah. I agree, Andrew. Emily rocks. Yay. Hey, Brana, how are you? Very nice to see you here again. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name. Hi, I'm wondering if an upgrade from EPL9 to Pan F is worth it, but hold for OM3 for some years. I think EPL9 and Pan F are very similar. I think the only big difference would be the image stabilization and electronic viewfinder. Even electronic viewfinder in the Pan F is not that great. The OM3 is definitely a bigger jump compared to the EPL9. New sensor, better image quality, better autofocus, a lot more new features, very similar to the OM-5 Mark II, right? Kepler says, maybe when I said Z5 Mark II was poor ergonomically, it was not the best choice of words, but for my hands, at least I found EM1 Mark III's control placement is better. Yes, I agree. To me, I've said this many times, EM1 Mark II, and by extension, EM1 Mark III, because they're both very similar, that's the best handling camera that I've ever used in my life. I've tried so many cameras, and EM1 Mark II, it just fits my hand perfectly, and I see that you also agree with that. Z5 is not bad. It is still very good. It's just not as good as the EM1 Mark II. Yes, I agree with that. Thomas says, Robin, tendinitis is inflammation of tendon. Plenty painful. Oh dear. Oh dear. I don't wish that happened to anyone. OM1 fits my hand so perfectly. It does not. I think the EM1 Mark II and the EM1 Mark III fits my hand better than the OM1. Much, much better. Yeah. It's different. It's different. Somehow the dials and the way the grip is shaped, the way my fingers wrap around it, and it's just different. The EM1 Mark II is just better. Chuck says, I'm biased against phones. I need my dials and buttons. Okay, good for you. Mai says, well, they are. I mean, they're fighting themselves at this point. Who is fighting who? I don't see who's fighting who. Okay, let's get to members chat. That says, Fuji is doing what Sony did, have a zillion different bodies with small differentiations so people can get the combo they want. Maybe OMs goes this route, OM1 Pro, OM3. I have no idea whether this will work or not, but the difference between Sony versus Fuji and OM system is that Sony now has almost infinite resources. They can do whatever they want with very little consequence, right? Whereas Fuji and OM system got to be a bit more careful because their resources are more limited. Material that says OM-5 Mark II, the budget Pro OM-10 line, cheaper entry level without wider ceiling. I don't think they can afford making that many cameras at this point. I don't see how. Mika says, I need to dig the 60mm out of the closet and try inside photography again. Too bad we mostly have mosquitoes. Shoot mosquitoes then. I actually had a really cool photograph of a bird. I think it's a parakeet. You know, the colorful parrot, right? With a mosquito on the head, sucking the blood off the head of the bird. Yeah, the photo is lying somewhere in my collection. It's not exactly a macro shot. It's still a shot of a bird's head. We can clearly see there's like a huge mosquito on top of the head. Yeah, that's one of my more favorite photographs that I've taken over the years. Jason says, Robin is a man of principle in response to Tapos Review's comment. Thank you, Jason. Hey, Jason, time to catch up for lunch or dinner or something. Yep, soon, maybe. Before I disappear, I will be gone a lot though. I have a trip to Fraser's Hill coming out in 2 weeks. I'll be going to China. No, I'll be going to Kuching first and then to China. So I'll be gone for a lot soon. So let's catch up soon, Jason. Which makes Robin brutally honest. I think we share the same trait, right, Jason? Jason is an old friend, and Jason is also known to be very honest. I think that's why we are both very good friends. We don't sugarcoat things. Yeah. Jason that says, does XC5 means a new X Pro 4 is coming? X Pro 4 would make me interested. I have no idea about the Fuji's lens, and like their product strategy is a little bit weird. Like I don't even understand the X half, which we talked about last week. So yeah. Jordan says, if there was one camera that makes consumers not to choose micro four thirds cameras over bigger sensor ones, I feel it might be the soon to be released Fuji Xe5. I hope the OM-5 Mark II can compete. Yeah, hopefully we just have to wait and see what's gonna happen. Right. As Strong says, I remember noticing the improved image stabilization from the original EM5 to the EM5 Mark II. You mean the EM5 Mark II's image stabilization is better than the original EM5, right? You notice the improvement from one model to the next much more in the 2010s. Yes. The original EM5, and technically, I could be wrong, based on my memory, the EM5 to EM1, then EM5 Mark II. So from EM5 to EM1, EM1 has a different image stabilization unit. The 5-axis IS is definitely better than original EM5. But the EM5 Mark II's 5-axis IS unit is very similar to the EM1. They're very similar. But the biggest improvement is that they tweak or they use a more sensitive gyro So meaning that they can detect the movement, the hand movement faster, which allows the processor to react so that the 5-axis stabilization can counter the movement more effectively based on the faster reading from the gyro detection. That's the only difference between the EM5 Mark II versus the EM1, if that makes sense. So basically the units are very similar, it's just that it detects the movement faster, so it makes the stabilization react better. Hopefully that makes sense. We have a member, Miles. Thank you so much for joining. I don't know if you are joining for the first time. If you are, then welcome to the Photo Buddies. Or if you are a member, renewing your membership, thank you for the continued support. Really appreciate that. All right. Time check. Wow, it is almost midnight already. So I'm going to finish off a few more comments and we will call it a night. All right, where were we? Let's see. Swiftlet says, I'm a bit late to the chat. No worries, I'm just glad that you're here. Welcome to the chat. What is your opinion would be a good update for the OM-5? I think the modern menu processor and USB-C would be enough. USB-C definitely stronger base plate because there was a complaint about the tripod mount breaking off. New sensor, new processor, making it more in line with the what the OM3 and OM1 Mark II can do in terms of image quality, autofocus, subject detection, as well as some computational features, speed, yeah, and overall make it newer, right? More in line with what we have today in the OM systems lineup. Yeah. Sula says it is. I compared the 26 megapixels versus 40 megapixels. It is what exactly? I think the 26 and 40, a lot of people say the 26 is better, right? Yeah. Pete says, I think OM should advertise more on how good the OM system is in other areas like portrait, sports, rather than just focus on wildlife and macro. I agree. We've been saying this many times, right? That the narrow scope of photography, just wildlife nature, is actually hurting them rather than doing more good. They should focus on lifestyle, travel, street is such a popular genre today, right? Vlogging, like all these things are, all these other genres are more attractive and can attract a wider audience compared to just nature, wildlife, like for example. Thomas says, OM-5 should move back to being all metal. OM-10 Mark III is plastic body. Actually, it's heavier than the Mark II in all metal. People want a premium feeling camera, just like camera aesthetics. Okay. At this point, depends on what they want to do with the OM-5. If they want to maintain the OM-5 as is, like what the EM5 originally is, then I think it makes sense to make it metal. But if they were going to replace it, meaning that they are getting rid of the EM10 line altogether and just staying with OM1, OM5, and OM3, then it makes sense that the OM5 will have plastic construction just to keep costs low and make it smaller, right? Yeah. Mai says, Fuji is doing fine here in Vietnam. That's mostly due to social media hype, which is not a reliable way to stay afloat long-term on a competitive market. Yeah. I think the big three is still Sony, Canon, and Nikon at this point. Mark says, I love my OM3, it's fantastic. I do wish the EVF was larger and had better resolution. For the price, it definitely should have had the same viewfinder as the OM1. Even if it doesn't have the OM1's viewfinder, which is like 5-point-something million dot, right? I wish it had the 3-point-something million dot. 3.67 million dot, the one that Z5 has, or the Z6, Z7 has, rather than the 2.3 million dots. At least that's a step up and a big improvement compared to the older, smaller electronic viewfinder, right? Yeah. Juliet says, about ergonomics, notice our hands and how they are when you grip. Hands should remain in neutral position along with wrists, very important. Don't end up like me, Nikon Z is limited for me these days. I think everyone is different, right? Just pick the one that works for you. That's why it's very important to try out the camera in the shop before you actually spend your hard-earned cash on the camera, right? Ufi says, Robin, what would you think about the idea of making a zine about the rubbish in our world? I'm trying to make pictures with rubbish in every edge of the frame and a shallow depth of field to feel the user forced to take notice of what they ignore day to day. I think it's a good photography project. In this case, it's more on environmental awareness and sustainability. That will be up for you to figure out your theme and how you want to approach your project. Hey, everyone to me, it's always good to have a long-term project, to have a consistent vision, to have something to work on so that all your photographs will come together as a series to tell a more cohesive story. So if you plan to make a zine on that, I'm all support for you. Yeah. Right. Viper Gamboka says, I did try photographing bugs but got too scared when I loaded the pictures on my computer. I wish I didn't see those details. But those details are the fun part, right? Mai says, it's totally possible for OM to take on Fuji. All they could need is to do refresh of the existing lenses and introduce new lenses, and it better opening up to Tamron would be a good move. All right. Yeah. Pete says, I just meant my hands, Robin, for the OM1 is great. Okay, that's good. Jet says, nice live stream. Like all time, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Namhua Tio says, probably the only upgrade is just to change USB port to USB-C. Prove me wrong. I guess we will find out very, very soon. Mai says, Fuji missed out badly. The S-mount was around at the same time as the early NEX bodies, but Sony definitely had better vision and strategies for their mirrorless conquest. Fuji stuck behind. I think Sony hit it hard with the two things. Video, so like a default YouTuber video now, and autofocus. Like, you may disagree with a lot of things. Like, you can say Sony's ergonomics is not the best. Sony color science is bad compared to Canon. You can say that, in terms of like camera, overall shooting experience, Sony is soulless, things like that. But you gotta say that autofocus in Sony camera, man, like I wish I have that autofocus. Yeah, that would be garbage photography. Hey, you never know. Some photography can inspire change in the world. And even a single photograph, if it's done properly, it has a powerful impact, can change the world. With that, that will be the last chat that I read. Thank you so much for staying with me. Time check. It is already 4 minutes past midnight. It has been a really fun chat speculating about OM-5 Mark II. I think I should probably end here before the speculation gets out of hand. I hope you have had fun during this live stream. I hope you've enjoyed looking at my inside macro photographs. And yeah, if you have enjoyed yourself, please consider supporting me. You can join as a member and enjoy some really cool perks. Or you can buy me a cup of coffee, or you can contribute directly to my PayPal, or you can buy from my affiliate links, B&H or Amazon. Any support will go a long way. Will definitely help me to make more videos and share as much as I can with you guys. All right, new videos as usual every Monday. Members will see them on Sunday night, 24 hours before everyone else, and live stream again on Thursday. I'll see you guys next week. Until then, please go out and take more photographs. Bye-bye.